"Sir, I will have you arrested for interference." The social worker's voice was sharp, cutting through the cold night air. Across from her stood Richard, the president of the Bandidos Motorcycle Club. He didn't flinch. Behind him, 15 of his men formed a human wall. Their faces were grim. "Try it," Richard growled, his voice a low rumble of thunder. Hands moved towards weapons. The air crackled with tension, ready to explode into violence. How did it come to this? How did a quiet trailer park on the edge of town become a war zone between a biker gang and the law? It all started just hours earlier, with a 7-year-old boy, $7, and an impossible request that would change all of their lives forever. The Iron Horse Bar wasn't a place for children. It smelled of stale beer, old leather, and regret. The only law here was the one written in the Bandidos Code. The low growl of conversation and clinking glasses was the bar's heartbeat. But tonight, that heartbeat stopped. The heavy oak door swung open, slicing a beam of pale moonlight into the smoky room. Standing in the doorway was a silhouette so small at first they thought it was a stray dog, but it wasn't, it was a boy. He couldn't have been more than 7 years old, with wide, terrified eyes and a mop of messy brown hair. He was wearing a t-shirt far too thin for the autumn chill. He walked forward, his small sneakers silent on the dusty floorboards. He walked right up to the bar, right up to the chapter president, Richard, and then he spoke, his voice barely a whisper. "Will you kill my stepdad for me?" The entire bar went dead silent. Every hardened criminal, every brawler and ruffian froze. They had heard threats, confessions, and battle cries within these walls, but never this. In the boy's outstretched hand were 7 crumpled, sweaty dollar bills. Richard, a man whose glare could make grown men tremble, was the first to move. The tattoos on his neck shifted as he slid off his stool and knelt down, bringing his 6'4" frame to the boy's level. His voice, usually a roar, was surprisingly gentle. "What's your name, son?" "Tyler," the boy whispered, not quite making eye contact. "Tyler," Richard said softly. He pointed a thick, scarred finger towards the boy's cheek. "Where did you get these bruises?" The boy finally looked up, and the bikers saw the dark constellation of pain on his face. "My stepdad," Tyler said, his voice cracking. "He beats me and my mom when he drinks. But tonight was real bad. He said he's going to finish it tonight." A ripple of dark energy moved through the room. A glass shattered in someone's hand. "Where does this stepdad live?" Richard asked. But his voice was different now. The gentleness was gone. It was dangerously quiet. "The blue trailer at the end of Maple Road," Tyler said. "About 2 miles from here." Every biker in that room knew Maple Road. It was a place of broken-down trailers and broken dreams, where meth dealers were neighbors and gunshots were as common as stray dogs. It was a place even the cops went in pairs. A massive biker named Tank, Richard's sergeant-at-arms, headed for the door. "Let's go handle this right now." Another biker, known only as Snake, pulled out a long, gleaming knife. "Then we handle it our way." Tyler's eyes went wide, a terrifying mixture of fear and hope. He had come here looking for monsters, and he had found them. But would they be his monsters? "Wait!" Richard commanded, his voice cutting through the rising anger. The bikers stopped, turning to their leader. What he said next shocked everyone. "The boy asked us to kill someone for $7. Richard stood up slowly, his shadow covering the boy. "Think about what that means. This kid is so desperate, so completely out of options that he walked 2 miles in the dark through the worst part of town to find killers, because he believes killers are the only ones who can help him." The bikers exchanged dark looks. They all knew what this meant. "Cops won't help," a biker named Razor growled from the corner. "They never do in domestic cases until someone's dead." This was the moment of truth. They were outlaws, men who lived by their own rules. But even outlaws have lines. And this little boy had just dared them to cross one. Would they become the killers he asked for? Or something else? What happened next? No one could have predicted. Please click the subscribe button and show us your support so we can continue bringing you these stories. Richard made a decision that would lead them all here, to this moment, to a standoff at the edge of town, with the boy's life hanging in the balance. The air was thick with the smell of gasoline and ozone. One wrong move, and this whole street was about to erupt in a bloodbath, and trapped in the middle of it all was a 7-year-old boy. Sheriff Johnson held up a hand. "Richard, you can't be here. This is an active crime scene. You and your men need to leave. Now." "The boy's mother is in there," Richard said, his voice flat and unmoving. We're not going anywhere until we know she's safe. The social worker stepped forward again. The boy is coming with me. He has to go into foster care immediately. She reached for Tyler. In a flash, Richard stepped between them. Back off, he growled. That's when she threatened him with arrest. That's when 15 bikers formed a wall of leather and steel around the child. The cops were outnumbered and everyone knew it. But just as the tension reached its breaking point, a sedan pulled up. A woman in nurse's scrubs got out. She walked calmly through the chaos right up to the sheriff. She was Richard's wife, Sarah. I'll take custody of Tyler tonight, she announced. The social worker scoffed. That's highly irregular. I'm a state-certified emergency foster parent, Sarah replied, holding out her credentials. It's not irregular. It's legal. Check your own rules. While the paperwork was sorted, a story emerged. The neighbor, an old Vietnam veteran, had heard the screams and intervened, shooting the stepdad in the shoulder. But there was a bigger problem. The stepdad's wound wasn't life-threatening. He was being released on bail the next morning, and he had already threatened to finish what he started. The system was failing them. The law couldn't hold him. The bikers gathered around, their fists clenched. It seemed violence was the only option left. That's when Tyler did something extraordinary. I recorded him, Tyler said quietly. Everyone stopped. They turned to stare at the 7-year-old boy. Tyler pulled an old cracked smartphone from his pocket. My real dad gave me this before he died, Tyler explained. He told me to use it to record when bad things happen. On that phone were 17 videos. 17 clips of his stepdad, drunk and enraged, beating him and his mother. The evidence was undeniable, with dates going back 6 months. It was a complete chronicle of abuse captured by the bravest 7-year-old they had ever met. The prosecutor's eyes went wide. This changes everything. The stepdad was charged with 37 felony counts of abuse. Bail was set at $500,000. He wasn't going anywhere. For the first time, Tyler looked like he could finally breathe. But the story was far from over, because evil has family too. The stepdad's brothers showed up the next day, 3 meth dealers with guns looking for revenge. They wanted Tyler and his mom dead for sending their brother to prison. They made the fatal mistake of coming to the motel where the bikers had put them up. 15 banditos were waiting for them in the parking lot. What happened in that parking lot became a local legend. No shots were fired. No police were called. But 3 meth dealers left town that night in a hurry and were never ever seen again. Some say they're buried in the desert. Others say they're in witness protection. When asked, Richard will only say they decided to relocate for health reasons. The stepdad, hearing his brothers had vanished, took a plea deal for 8 years in prison. He knew what would happen if he ever came near Tyler or his mother again. The Vietnam veteran who saved them was given a medal by the city. The banditos paid for his lawyer and he was never charged. Tyler and his mom moved into a new apartment, quietly protected by the motorcycle club. Any man who looked at them wrong got a firm, clear visit from 15 bikers who explained the situation. Tyler kept those $7, though. Years later, a teenage Tyler was having a coffee with Richard at the bar. Richard asked him why he never spent the money. Tyler looked at the old man who had saved him and smiled. Those $7 were worth more than money, he said. They bought me an army of guardian angels who looked like demons. Richard framed those $7 and they hang in the Iron Horse bar to this day. A reminder of the night they were asked to be killers but chose to be heroes instead. Sometimes the most dangerous men make the best protectors because they understand violence and know exactly when not to use it. Family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's 15 dangerous bikers who choose to save you. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. It helps us find and share more incredible stories just like this one.